I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with you girls. I feel like y'all don't need love. You need somebody who could micromanage you.
Right, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Never mind the mess back there, just try not to look. I'm gonna turn you over here so you can look more over here and less over there. So today is Wednesday. Today is Mama BRIGITTE's day. Since I am gonna make dinner later for myself and the kids, it's gonna be, you know, rice and vegetables. I'm gonna make her some rice and black beans to go along with her offering of the babaku and the pima. But today, other than that, what I'm gonna show you guys is what to do with the cemetery spell bottle that I did not bury in the cemetery. I'm gonna show you another alternative to do with this. And also the paper that you guys wrote the LEVE on. Now, one girl on my TikTok, she asked me if she could see me do this process step by step. I did say in the comments, if I do happen to do this spell again, I will record it, and that will be part of my free voodoo videos here on this channel, aside from what I make on TikTok, only because I want to keep TikTok in short form. I don't want to throw it off or make it go off the rails any way it is. My channel went viral just for me doing these little videos, so I'm going to stick to what's working for me, and then everything else I'll bring over here to YouTube. And what's not on YouTube, of course, is going to be on Patreon. I have not been on Patreon my whole pregnancy, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting up videos and stuff that I've been wanting to put on Patreon, so look out for that, just in case you want to be a patron. And those videos are more in depth than these, even though this might be very in-depth. But every time before I go or before I do something with the loi, I always give them offerings. That's what you guys saw on my shorts, actually. So I'm gonna show you guys some stuff that I bought to offer them as offerings. We got bananas, strawberries, oranges, grapes. And what I normally like to do is I chop it up and then I give it to them, and I put them in like nice bowls like this, and then I offer it to them. What was in here, I already put in a bag right here. And we're gonna go and give this, sorry, got dishes in my sink. Gonna go and give this as an offering to the loi at the park. If you guys aren't familiar with the park, I do have some videos telling you about how to start nature magic. Everything is connected though, so if you're gonna do nature magic and all that, the loi and everything, so they appreciate everything down to where you make your offerings. So the altar is not the only place I make an offering at. What I like to do is I like to chop it up, cut them up like I'm serving somebody, which you are, you're serving the loi. So I break it up. This is the one that I put on Freda and Dantos, and this is the one that I put on all the other lois. Now, if you notice too, on my altar there is a spot for Mama BRIGITTE, and that's where I put most of her offerings, like her candles and the food that I'm gonna make later. So I do have a candle for her here. Got a candle for her on her day. As you can see, it's purple, just like the mouchoir. Purple is one of her and Bawa Samti's colors, so there you go.
Jawo, oukou, Jawo, oukou, KRIYE par lever la mort, KRIYE par lever la mort, aussi KRIYE te lever la mort, aussi KRIYE te lever la mort, Maman BRIGITTE a MOURI levé,
KRIYE par lever la mort,
Jawo,
KRIYE par lever la mort, aussi KRIYE te lever la mort.
oh si KRIYE,
Lever la mort, Maman BRIGITTE a MOURI levé.
KRIYE par lever la mort, KRIYE par lever la mort, si KRIYE te lever la mort, si KRIYE lever la mort, Maman BRIGITTE a MOURI levé.
KRIYE par lever la mort, KRIYE par lever la mort.
You know, dry it off until it's completely dried to my liking. A lot of the time there's always Florida water on this, so that's why I like to use the one that I use to clean the altars. I take this and then I put it on Mama Bridgette's side. Normally, before I light any of their candles, I'll ask them for anything that I want. For me, it's always education, it's always lessons, it's always what should I post next, it's always where do I go now, you know what I mean? So these are the kind of questions and answers that I like. But for you, you can do whatever you want, whatever you feel that they would answer to, you go ahead. And I'm so sorry guys, so sorry about that. Turn the phone off. All right, now that I'm done being unprofessional, you can ask them for whatever it is that your heart desires. In the meantime, in between time, don't get too overzealous. Don't feel like, you know, you're owed some things and you know you didn't make any offerings, you know you haven't fed them, you don't give them coffee. They don't like that. If this is a lot that you're trying to get the attention of and see if they want to work with you, the best way to start, and how I started, is by giving them offerings before you even start asking for anything. So once you've done that, you light their candle. But even for now, while you're making offerings, you light their candle just so that they know that you know it's their day today and you're trying to serve them. Put it on their side. Now Mama Brigitte, for her, I did have a lesson plan for the cemetery, but I'm gonna have to go back and refilm that. That did not come out well. For a quick lesson with Mama Brigitte, to catch her attention, you need to go to the cemetery and collect some rocks from the cemetery. Once you have those rocks from the cemetery, you will form them into a triangle, which I will show you in a second, because I'm going to show you how I place this into her triangle. That triangle is her sacred space. That's like you're making your own cemetery in here. If she likes you, she will definitely send you messages, dreams, random spells will pop up in your head. That means she's happy and she really wants to work with you. The way I knew that she wanted to work with me is that she told La Sienne, and La Sienne came to me in the bodies of one of my friends slash apprentices. She's actually one of my really good students. That was freaky, because I've never seen them jump inside of bodies that weren't people who weren't a part of the practice already, or who I didn't know as family. So when she did that and she let me know that Mama Brigitte knows that I want to work with Baum, but she said, what about her? That's when I started to give her more attention, and now I'm starting to take care of her and Baum as a collective, but I normally focus more on her because she was the one who reached out first. Baum was just really trying to get his attention, but I know I have. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So when you come from the cemetery, this is how you should set the rocks up in your altar. As long as they make a triangle, then, you know, she's all for it. And what I normally do is I will put the candle inside of here, or I'll put it like on a little on the side, because you guys know my altars are on my counters and I don't want to set anything on fire up here. So what I would do is I bring stuff down. Okay. And then I'm gonna set. So that way things aren't really, you know, set on fire, even though it's like right directly up there. But normally sometimes it works, or I'll just light her candle on the outside, you know, so that way it's not too much happening in the fire, you know what I mean? Okay, so now that I have asked for what I wanted, said my thank yous, I'm about to light an incense, and this is what my setup looks like. Now, when people say you shouldn't show your altar, I always say to each his own, because nobody can tell you what to do with your altar. Like, even when I started to film what I was doing, we all know that Haitian voodoo is normally kept on the quiet side. Nobody really knows who does it or who is doing it, and a lot of my family members still practice like that. But that's not the calling that came to me. They want to be out. They want people to know that the voodoo is alive. They want people to know that voodoo is fucking real. Okay? That's why I show you guys how I do my altars, what I'm doing. You don't have to do it exactly the same way as I am doing it, but this is what has worked for me. This is what's gotten me so far, and this is exactly how my spells hit, just like that.
The next morning.
It's the next day, and I just did my first of the month ritual because it is actually February 1st. Happy Black History Month, by the way. We have arrived. I probably have shown this place maybe once or twice, but the backstory on how I find places to give offering, I started doing this while I was in the shelter. Sorry if I'm coming out of focus, but I started doing offerings like this when I was in the shelter. Nobody in my family made offerings like this at all. This is something that I just felt the need to do and started doing, especially since I wanted to get into nature magic as well. So I found a tree that I connected with, and then I just kept coming and bringing the tree offerings, be it food from the altar, coffee, water from the altar, whatever. I bring it and then I leave it by the tree, or here I bury it so that way the birds don't come and get all in it. But I've definitely been doing this now. I want to say this is like 3 years now I've been doing this, so this is still fairly new, but it is something that the Loa very much so appreciate, and I noticed that it's something that all of them appreciate. Like, anybody that I really want to work with comes to me before I can even petition them, because of the offerings and things that I make before I let it be known what I would like. So this is the first time, I want to say, since I've been big and pregnant, that I'm visiting my tree friend, and we're gonna drop some offerings off. And then, as promised, like I told you yesterday, I'm gonna show you a different way to go about, the word that keeps coming to mind is tossing. So I guess they want me to tell you guys to toss it. So normally, like I said, I would bury it in the cemetery, but the cemetery is pretty ways away from here, and with the kids being about to be home, this is like the closest that I can do. And plus, you're gonna notice across from my tree friend, that is the Harlem River. The river, you can see it going this way. So anything and any work that I put in just goes with the river. And if the river feels like you need to be at the bottom of it, then you at the bottom of it, baby. So let's get our offerings. So before Tori gets fussy, this is my tree friend. When I come out here before, it's normally hot, so there's leaves and branches and stuff. But normally what I do is I'll come, touch the tree, don't mind my ashy hands. And if this is the first time you're feeling drawn to the tree, spit on the tree. Yes, I said spit on it. Introduce yourself, say your first name, your last name, middle name, whatever comes to mind, or your whole thing, and just talk. Just talk. Just like in Avatar, these roots and everything, they have stuff in there. There's memories, there's so much shit you can learn from a tree, I'm telling you right now. And a lot of it comes in your dream state. So once you're done asking, or once you're done talking, getting to know the tree, then you can give your offerings.
Levez la main, maman Brigitte a mouru levé.
Priez, va lever la mort.
Oh, ja, oh, oh.
Criez, va lever la mort. Si criez, lever la mort.
Oh, si crier.
Élevez la mort, maman Brigitte, l'amour levé.
Et la maman Brigitte.
L'amour levé.
Et la maman Brigitte.
L'amour levé.
Et mal par la moelle. Sobleso, bien mal par la moelle. Bien mal par la moelle. Sobleso, bien mal par la moelle. Sobleso, l'amour a fait la peine. Arrivé, sobleso, attendez rêves. Sobleso, l'amour a fait la peine.
Bien mal par la mort.
I normally come where there's really nobody to bother me or ask me what I'm doing. This right here is normally where I throw my work. This is where I threw one of my clients' work, and it worked tremendously. I have my cemetery work here with Mama Brigitte, and I brought some tape. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape the VEVE to the bottle. Let me see if I can record so you guys can see it.
Bien mal par la mort. Sobleso, bien mal par la mort. Sobleso, l'amour a fait ma peine. Sobleso, l'amour a fait ma peine. Au corps de sobleso, dans les vélos. Au corps de sobleso, dans les vélos. Sobleso, l'amour a fait ma mal.
Bien mal par la moelle. Sobleso, bien mal par la moelle.
Now that I was thinking,
Sobleso, l'amour a fait la peine. Arrivé, sobleso, attendez rêves. Sobleso, l'amour a fait la peine.
this is what mine looks like. Okay, I'm gonna turn you guys. So now that we have this, the main thing that I always took from my aunt, one thing that does work, don't look at it, just toss it, and then we're gonna walk away. So, boom, you heard that? And then we go, because we're not gonna look back at the fucking work, especially since it was some nasty work in there. So let's go.
Tryna bag you. Ironic how the news I got about you ended up being bad.